Hello everyone, we're getting into the gist of what I'm going to be putting out for the next release as far as PlayStation 1 cores. Let's go into low content Star Trek 3 Dummy. We'll go to the Moonlight folder, and there are a few games I want to showcase in the past. Maybe I'll do it in this video depending on how much time I have. But we have Tim Allen's Home Improvement, Power, Tool Pursuit, Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City, and of course the obligatory Steven Seagal is the final option. I mean, he's a great character in real life, in parodies, etc. I mean, always a fun guy. Okay, and let's go to Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. I might try to showcase these in this video if I can, but we're going to have 11 core variants here, and we're going to have the standard issue PSX rearm. You can run it with Retro Boot, Auto Blame, Blame Sync, Extreme Injector. We'll have PSX 1, and if you're running games like Metal Gear Solid, you might want to choose between POPs or POPs Extreme. Then we have Neon, Neon Extreme, Neon Extreme Amped. If you want to have a little bit of blaze and more speed for some of the more stubborn games, Unite and Unite Extreme. Then we of course have HD Extreme and HD Extreme Amp. And the Amp versions are going to be applicable to play games like Jedi Power Battles, Sheep Raider, Hercules, etc. But there's one caveat to the HD Extreme Amp cores. You're not going to be able to use your memory cards. If you want to save the games with the HD Extreme Amp cores, you're going to have to do RetroArch Saves. So if you don't want to do the RetroArch Saves and just want to save the games per normal with the memory cards, do the HD Extreme standard issue ones. So Amped will have broken memory cards. It is what it is. I'll show you what I mean. We're actually going to do Extreme Amped right here. We'll do the HD Extreme Amped for Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Like I said, some games like Hercules run at roughly 25-30 frames per second if you run it on the normal cores or even the Extreme cores. But if you do the Extreme Amp core, it's going to run at 60 frames per second. Steady, solid. Maybe drop to like 50-55 at various times. But like I said, you won't be able to save in-game if you're using the amped versions of this on this specific thing. I mean, amped of like Super Nintendo, etc. you can, just not for the PlayStation ones. And you'll see what I mean in a moment here. And this game was actually made by Silicon Knights. I mean, great company. They started out very strong with Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. A couple of games which were lesser known for DOS, etc. And then they really branched out to some awesomeness for like GameCube. And they did like Nintendo and Konami enlisted the aid of them to do Eternal Darkness, Requiem Sanity, and of course the Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. I mean, these are both respectively awesome games on GameCube. And the Eternal Darkness game was so awesome because it actually had this cool gimmick, actually several cool gimmicks where you would be mucked about with. Like say for instance, you'd be playing a game and your volume would change on you like this, and you'd be like grabbing your controller. And it wasn't actually your TV, it was just the game doing a little heads-up display like that. And you might also notice the heads-up display to the right there. It's no longer glitchy. And one big problem with this game is that it had tremendously long load time issues. But watch what happens. It's going to be very fast compared to before. It's going to be way less, like just a second or two here, compared to the way longer times. And spoiler alert, you can't beat this part. No matter what you do, Defender of the Crown style, you're going to lose. I mean, just let the guys take you over, or you can do a little bit of a game, some of these enemies you can take out. Lave this. You hear it in this game about as many times as you hear Winter's Coming in Game of Thrones. But love the voice work, the overall package here, and love these actioner games like Zelda, Zelda 3. And by the way, Zelda 3 came out roughly around the same development cycle time as Neutopia 2, and they're very similar games. Neutopia 2 was on, of course, TurboGrafx 16, and it feels like a Super Nintendo game with its awesomeness. Here's the typical venue here as far as computer-generated graphics at the time. But again, if you're going to play this game in the update, I'd recommend running this on the HD Extreme core. If you want to actually save it in-game, run it on the HD Extreme core. If you run it on the Amped one, which I am right now, you're going to need to do the RetroArch Saves, where you basically go to RetroArch input, and then you do the hotkey binds for save and load. That's the only way you're going to be able to do this properly for the Amp version, but the save states work fantastic if you do it that way. But in any case, we're going to go to the sordid history of course, Silicon Knights. They started out very strong and went on to Eternal Darkness and Metal Gear Solid, like I mentioned. And here we go, Erica. We're seeing this nice Queen of the Damned style gameplay here. Okay, awesome sauce there. Okay. Love the voice work.
Travel to my crypt where the soil of my grave provides me respite. I often resort to this when I am weak and need nothing.
This is so cool. Loving his voice work. And this really does feel like it could be an extension of Anne Rice's like Interview the Vampire, and Queen of the Damned. Love those soundtracks as well. I mean, when we're talking about awesome soundtracks, Queen of the Damned, Blade Trilogy, Masters of Horror, and yes, if you've never seen Masters of Horror Season 1 or 2, you need to check it out. I mean, the third season was actually picked up by NBC. It was called Fear Itself. It wasn't nearly as good as Season 1 and 2, but this open world game called Jennifer was actually based off of a Masters of Horror episode. I recommend that to a few people, such as Black Sunshine. Huge Rob Zombie fan, but I recommended it to him, and he was absolutely amazed by it. I mean, that's one of the shows I can go back to and watch many times, like even Twilight Zone and such. But right here, here's what happens if you run it with the Amcore. I'm going to try to save the game. It's not going to let me. I'm going to go to save it. And the good thing is that memory cards are going to be applicable to your specific core, so this would not affect the other core variants, just this one. The card has not been formatted. Format this card, yes. Yes, I'm going to format it. It's not going to let me. It's going to read it as unformatted no matter what. That is the bug with the amped version of the core. So you cannot save in-game. But we're just going to leave here. Run it with the Xtreme core, you can save it just fine. So you can try both out. I'm just trying to run this game as well as I possibly can right now. For example, so we're going up in here, the dungeons, getting out of here. I'd really like to look up who did the voice work for this, because he really does feel like somebody who went on to better, more grandiose things. But in any case, Epic Games was working on Gears of War around the time that the Unreal Engine 3 was in play, and Silicon Knights did a contract with them to have the Unreal Engine 3 for their games and such, but then they got into making games such as X-Men Destiny, and of course 2 Human, which is a game that really just was a big undertaking. Took 3 to 5 years to even make, and I remember little jokes about the game when it came out, taking like 5 years to make the game, and it looked like an Xbox, the original Xbox game, not even an Xbox 360 game. It was still a very, very well done game, fun, RPG actioner, sci-fi elements, etc., etc. But they won, obviously, over budget, and they tried to find a scapegoat to get more money. They tried suing Epic Games over the Unreal Engine 3, saying that the code was incomplete. But then Epic Games looked into them, and they looked into them in a hard, hard way. They found out that games like X-Men Destiny and some unreleased games, as well as 2 Human, all had stolen lines of code from the Unreal Engine 3, and they were able to determine this because they had, like, when people make a painting, they sign in the bottom right of the painting, their signatures and such. Developers for, of course, Epic Games signed their signatures and little useless bits of code, and the judge found it out and awarded Epic Games $4.4 million, which pretty much bankrupted Silicon Knights, and their last game was 2 Human. And they did a recall on all copies of 2 Human and X-Men Destiny, and surprisingly so, if you go online right now, you can buy both 2 Human and X-Men Destiny without putting out an extravagant amount of money. You think that a game that was pulled from the shelves, recalled, would be more expensive, but no. It actually was a decent price. They're pretty well done games, albeit not really the best of graphics. I mean, they're still fun to play. And we're going to get to a little bit of a puzzle up here. I mean, we hit our switches to get to these little areas. Bam! That is so cool. Okay, little switch here. But I hope you're enjoying this demonstration, Erica, and Black Sunshine. More PlayStation 1 awesomeness for you as well. Here we have some spikes there, but you have to look at this. We can't get past that. There's a little bit of a... You've seen games like this, almost like Goonies and such, where you have to do these in the right order to unlock that. Let's see if we can get it right. Nope. Okay, how do you do this? You gotta hit them in the right exact order to get that spike to open. Only so many options. There we go. Got it. That was my first puzzle in the game. But it's not like crazy puzzles like Tomb Raider, which obviously Crystal Dynamics went on to make as well. Oh, what's this?
These curious devices hurl bolts of whirling energy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Eviscerate my human enemies by stripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone.
Oh, look at that. That is awesome. You hold the circle button to drain blood. Hell yeah. See if we can drain some blood on these enemies. This is such a cool game. An interesting thing is, like, certain games I bought, I remember leaving the box artwork for the games, would talk about how long, and, like, actors that would say it'd take you many hours to beat the game. But it actually was a game I beat in, like, roughly, like, 3 hours from the moment I bought it. And even this game here, I beat in probably, like, 7 to 8 hours. Definitely going to be doing this. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to save this. I'm going to go into RetroArch Settings. And this is if you do it with the Xtreme Amp Core. Input, hotkey binds. I just passed right by it. There we go. We need hot keybinds. Right here. And then we're going to go down to load state and save state. We're going to program load. We'll do load with L2. And we'll do save with R2. And you can do this temporarily and push start to revert back to normal when you're done. But once you come back to the game, you could use your saves again. And if you, you could literally just copy RetroArch Saves to your computer and have them backed up to boot. But we're going to go back to the game here. We're going to push R2, and we'll be able to save the game right now. There we go, we just saved it. And then we go back to the game here. And then we're going to try to load the save state to show that it works. So I'm going to push L2, it'll load right back to where I was. There we go, we're back to where we were. So if you're doing the AMP core, you're going to have to do it this way. But for the final tail end of this video, we're going to do maybe one of those moonlighting things here. But yes, Blood Omen Legacy Kain, fantastical game. Let's go to the moonlighting game here, and we'll do these right in a row. We'll do a Home Improvement, Power, Tool Pursuit, and like I said, these are very interesting games. And you might notice that I did this where I actually made these much more concise as far as the scores. Look how much more concise these are. Arcade, Atari, Commodore, Multi. I mean, these are all, like, very concise. It used to be like Nintendo, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and scroll all the way across the screen. So it's going to be much, much cooler now. And we're going to run this with the, we'll do the 2010 Xtreme Core, which has less slowdown and such. And we'll do the Home Improvement game real quick. Let's talk about a dozen words you never heard in the 1990s minutes game calendar. Hey, dude, you want to come over and drink some beers and play Home Improvement for Super Nintendo? Nope. But hey, dude, you want to come over and play Batman Returns for Super Nintendo? Hell yeah. Even the great NHL games and, of course, Out of This World, aka Another World, really got people's attention. But I highly doubted somebody's going to come over and play Home Improvement or, of course, Baby's Day Out. Remember that movie and that game? Jeez. But in any case, this is actually a pretty interesting game. If you like stuff like Jurassic Park, them great Mega Drive games, you'll be right at home with this game because it really does feel like an extension of like Turrican mixed over with Jurassic Park. It is also, I give this challenge level at least an 8 out of 10. It's not an easy game, but it's very, very interesting. I mean, I love this incidental style music here. You usually get a nail gun as your primary weapon. And we all know nail guns, how fun they are, and lethal weapon and such. But check this game out for a moment here. Like I said, it's a nice running gun game. And it's very, very challenging. You get hit a few times, you're done. But let's look down here. Look at this. Look at these dinosaurs. It's like Jurassic Park. That is so damn cool. They have dinosaurs in this game. But give this game a shot. I mean, seriously, give this game a shot. You might actually enjoy it for like an hour or two. We're going to move on to one of the other games here. Oh, we got a crate. We're going to move on to the other games real quick. But I was thoroughly surprised that the gameplay compatibility was actually quite good for that. Now we're going to go to Moonlight in here, and this game, a second game right here, Michael Jordan Cast in Wind City, is actually good as well. You'll see in a moment here. In this game right here, along with Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, these are both guilty pleasures of mine. Well used license. I mean, this game is actually surprisingly good for what it's worth. You'll see in a moment here. And I actually just saw Space Jam all the way through for the first time in the last few years. I kind of skipped it when I saw it on TV years ago, but it's actually a pretty entertaining movie. I mean, I do like Looney Tunes stuff in general. And of course, the Roadrunner cartoons are fantastic. But let's check this out here. It feels like it's, starts out almost like it's a Goonies style game. I love my Goonies games too. Great Metroidvania style games. And you can even dunk in this game in a very, very interesting fashion. I'll show you in a moment here. I mean, we have the standard jump animation right here. Just jump with the X button. And then we could shoot with the square button. And then, of course, we could do jump with the triangle button. And then dunk with the square button. So triangle, square, then dunk. That is so cool. But very, very well done game. Boss battles, everything. It's got a whole mixture of stuff. Like I said, this is a great game to play for Halloween. It almost looks like a horror game. Dunk! Look at that. It's so cool. Once you get used to the dunking mechanics, it is so fun. But give this game a shot, give the Home Improvement game a shot, and then we got one more game to showcase. Moonlighting. Oh, here we go. And this game is a laugh. Steven Seagal is the final option. Again, I'm running all these with the SNES 9X 2010 Xtreme Core. And out of the 3 games I showcased here, this game here is absolutely hysterically funny. Once you get past the learning curve with the very, very frustrating, cumbersome, hard controls. And I love these Steven Seagal skits in Mad TV, especially the ones where he's like throwing people from the balconies because they're not following his choreography properly. And this parlays into real life reality in a big way because when he trained Sean Connery, of all people, and Never Say Never, one of the last James Bond movies from like roughly 1983, he broke Sean Connery's wrist. I don't think they're best buddies. I also love seeing the Sean Connery parodies in Celebrity Jeopardy. Here we can kick, we can punch, and the way you draw the weapon in this game is quite odd. You actually hold the R button, then you tap it again to shoot, and then you can push in the other button to put it away. But this is actually not Steven Seagal in the game. It is look like they couldn't get him to do the motion capture like they do with some other celebrities in games. But very, very interesting game. I love the music in this game, too. What the hell's going on here? Looks like the scientists or whatever. Never can do this. Okay. And the jumping is very, very odd in this game, too. You'll see what I mean when you get to the jump portions. You have to actually push the circle button to jump, but you have to do it in such a way, like, at least, it's kind of forgiving as far as where you land. You can actually choose where to land if you fail the jumping mechanics. Okay. Here you have to kind of do this, and, oh, there you go. Hold the circle button. If you fail, you can just, I'll fail on purpose. Just watch what happens if I fail. I can actually choose where to land. So that's not so bad. The game is actually quite interesting. I kind of wish it was released for real, but it actually was not released. It was just a prototype. And Steven Seagal hacking into a computer terminal, right? Very, very fit in. Just like Escape Plan with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, that little joke about them being nobody would ever believe they're geniuses. But again, check out Steven Seagal. The final option. A very, very interesting game. Love this music. And hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy all these games with the release.